Hello everyone, we are in your science book on page 58 and we are going to read until page 61. Measuring matter. Serving others often involves using objects. Andrea used ingredients and utensils to make her brownies. Although objects are different in many ways, they are all alike in at least one way. Each is made of matter. Matter is anything that has volume and has mass. Volume and mass are characteristics of matter that we can often measure. Sometimes we use the term substance to refer to matter. Volume of a liquid. The volume of a substance is the amount of space that it takes up. The standard unit of metric measurement for volume is the liter. Many soft drinks come in 2-liter bottles. A smaller unit for volume is the milliliter. Liquid medicine often uses this unit. A teaspoon of medicine is about 5 milliliters. We measure the volume of a liquid by using a graduated container. Graduated means that the container is divided into equally marked parts. A graduated container has the units of measurement marked on its side. A liquid is poured into the container. The level of the liquid is then compared with the numbers on the side of the container. The numbers show the volume of the liquid. Scientists use containers called graduated cylinders, but even the measuring cups in a kitchen are a type of graduated container. Volume of a solid. There are 2 ways to measure the volume of solid objects. To measure the volume of regular shapes, such as cubes and rectangular solids, multiply the measurements of the length, width, and height of the object. The volume is written as a cubic measurement. An object that is 15 centimeters long, 10 centimeters wide, and 10 centimeters high has a volume of 1,500 cubic centimeters. A cubic centimeter is written as cm to the 3rd power, or cc. However, we cannot always measure a solid object by using its length, width, and height. For instance, it would be difficult to measure a rock or a marble in this way. The volume of irregularly shaped objects can be measured using a method called water displacement. You can see water displacement when you add marbles to the water in a graduated cylinder. The volume of the marbles is the distance between the beginning level of the water and the level after the marbles were added. The volume can be written in milliliters or liters. For example, suppose a cylinder contains 250 milliliters of water. After the marbles are added, the level of the water is 300 milliliters. The volume of the marbles is 50 milliliters. In the metric system, 1 cubic centimeter is equal to 1 milliliter. Scientists usually use milliliters to describe the volume of a liquid. They use cubic centimeters to describe the volume of a solid. So the volume of the marbles in the example is also equal to 250 centimeters cubed. Mass and weight. Mass is another way that matter is measured. Mass is the amount of material in a substance. It is usually measured by comparing an unknown mass with a known mass. For example, a student with an unknown mass can sit on one end of a seesaw. A substance with a known mass, such as a sack of sand, can be placed on the other end. If the seesaw balances, we know that the mass of the student is the same as the mass of the sand. We usually measure mass with an instrument called a balance. The substance to be measured is placed on the instrument. Standard masses, objects of known masses, are used to balance the unknown mass of the substance. The mass of the substance to be measured is equal to the sum of the standard masses. Some metric units of mass are the gram and the kilogram. The mass of a paperclip is about 1 gram. A 1-liter bottle of water has a mass of about 1 kilogram. It is usually easy to determine which of 2 objects has the greater mass. A large dog has more matter than a small cat does, and therefore he has more mass. The dog also weighs more than the cat does, but the dog's mass and the dog's weight are not actually the same. Mass and weight are related, but they measure different things. Mass measures the amount of matter. Weight measures the amount of force gravity gravity exerts on the matter. If we measure two items at the same location, the object with greater mass weighs more. Mass can change only as the amount of matter changes, but weight can vary based on the gravity at a location. A student whose mass is 40 kilograms would weigh 88 pounds on the Earth, but that student would weigh about 220 pounds on Jupiter and only 15 pounds on the Moon. The difference occurs because the gravity of the Moon and the gravity of Jupiter are different from the gravity of the Earth. Density. Density is the amount of matter in a certain volume. Suppose you are given the task of carrying one of two boxes in a race. The two boxes are the same size and look the same on the outside. However, one box is filled with cotton. The other box is filled with rocks. You would probably choose the box with the cotton inside. The two boxes have the same volume, but the box with cotton has less mass than the box with rocks has. This difference in mass makes the box of cotton less dense than the box of rocks is. The density of an object is calculated by dividing its mass by its volume. The formula is mass divided by volume equals density. An object that has 12 grams of mass and takes up 3 milliliters of volume has a density of 4 grams per milliliter. Notice this density is measured in grams per milliliter. It is written as G/ml. Creation corner up in the top corner of this page. Most substances have a greater density in a solid form than a liquid form. One exception is water. During the winter, ice floats on top of lakes and rivers instead of sinking. If the ice sank, it would continue to displace the water. The water on top would freeze and sink. All the living things in the water would die. However, God designed ice to be less dense than water. In this way, He provided a top layer to preserve life under the ice in the winter.